So there's a lot, and I think the key reason to think there's a great outlook for silver, it's priced at 90 to 1 to the price of gold, but it's produced at 8 to 1. And when it was a legitimate currency, both gold and silver, it traded at 15 to 1. And I have no doubt it's going to trade at 15 to 1 again. And that means that at $3,000 gold, silver should go to 200. And it sounds ridiculous to say it, but it should trade at 15 to 1 when it's being bought 8 to 1. My own view is the stock market's probably going to trade down here. I think we'll go into a bear market. People are now finding it difficult to find an area that they can be comfortable in. Mag 7's not working. I'd rather suspect AI is not going to work like people imagined it. The whole market starts giving it up. And of course, what's the best performing group in the first quarter? Oh, precious metals, funny thing. Why is nobody investing in it? And you can almost sense that nobody is investing in the stocks yet. One of the things that I think is missing when people look at gold and silver equities, and I love the work, for example, that a guy named Don Durrett does, because Don Durrett says, look, gold's going to 4,000. At $4,000, this is a 25 bagger. Now, where do you get a 25 bagger? Mm-hmm. And it just shows you how important the price is too, right? I mean, it's three most important things in mining are, one is the ore body, two is the price, and in my mind, third is management. Mm-hmm. Poor management can't do anything with a lousy ore body. But they can do well if the price goes up.
Now, are assets management proof?
Well, I would, at these prices, they're almost management proof. Yeah, at these prices, pretty well everything works. Yeah. Hard to imagine anybody who wouldn't make money at $3,000 gold and in Canadian $4,300 Canadian. It's hard to imagine you couldn't make money. And one of the other things that I think is important today, and I do this constantly when I'm buying particularly silver stocks, the guy said, well, it's trading at 0.2 times NAV, and Eric's thinking, well, yeah, but what happens when the price of silver goes to 50 and then 100? Mm-hmm. How much is that going to go up by? And because I'm an investor, I want to know the upside. That's what I'm buying, right? I'm trying to buy upside.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for downside. I want to see how much money can I make by buying this thing.
Yeah, you're not buying yesterday's news.
No.
Like you're
buying the future. And imagine if I would have said 2 years ago, oh yeah, no, I'm buying gold stocks because I think I'd go to $3,000. It'd laugh me out of the room.
Right.
Well, here we are. And if you would have bought it on the basis that it was going to go higher for reasons you saw already, fine, you get your payday, and a significant payday at that. Although there's a lot more to come. I think there's more to come than we've received already.
Yeah, like the future is brighter than what's been. Yeah. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about your views on silver. Why should silver be? Why is silver the big bet right now?
Sure.
For Eric.
Well, first of all, I am a great believer in the manipulation of markets, particularly precious metals markets. And we've seen lots of guys pay big fines for spoofing and messing around and doing this. And I think as we look now back at gold, it went to 2,000. This is the fourth time. Went through, boom, 3,000. Mm-hmm. I think we broke the back of the manipulators, okay? Because the demand for gold, this physical gold, overwhelmed the paper guys, okay? And I think they probably realized it. I think silver's been manipulated for at least 50 years. Same thing. And now we've got these, we got shorts on the COMEX for 850 million ounces now. It's almost obscene that someone would think that was a smart bet when you look at all the data about the demand for silver for the various industries. And one of them that's really come to light, I saw a presentation by a gentleman from McKinsey, and he's looking at the developments in the car market in China where, they're suggesting they can get an electric vehicle that can go 1,000 kilometers. And when you refill the battery, it takes 5 minutes. Well, voila, that's going to solve the concerns we had, a year ago about electric vehicles, which there were many concerns about it. But I think the outlook for all the metals that have anything to do with the batteries in cars and storage batteries,
solar.
storage batteries, Sorry?
Solar.
Yes. Oh, well, solar, yeah.
The panels work like
without saying.
40 or 50% better
Yeah.
with silver instead of copper or something.
Of course,
Like it's insane.
Like it's massive. We got a $200 million shortfall roughly every year for the last 4 years. We're going to have another one this year. Like, where's this stuff coming from, folks?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because in the past, silver, you know, I'll take it at face value that it's been manipulated in the past, and there's a great and growing disparity between where silver should be in tandem with gold. But for the first time, I think there's a real industrial application for silver. It's not just a financial metal now. It's in the past, in past cycles it was, and maybe I'm wrong on that, but I feel like for now the industrial demand is the new ingredient. And I asked you this, you know, maybe last week or whatever, or a few weeks ago, and was like, you know, do you think that the two things can coexist? Do you think it can can be a financial metal and a
Well, there's not room for everybody. We know that. There isn't.
Right.
I mean, somebody's going to have to say to the investors, you know, you can't invest. And there's some strange things going on in silver. You've seen the flow of silver from London to New York. We see the open interest in how much demand there's at almost every expiry. I think the last expiry for silver, there's like 75 million ounces delivered. Well, 75 million, that's about what we produce in a month. Well, we can't have COMEX taking 100% of the silver production in the world. So there's a lot, and I think the key reason to think there's a great outlook for silver, it's priced at 90 to 1 to the price of gold, but it's produced at 8 to 1. And when it was a legitimate currency, both gold and silver, it traded at 15 to 1. And I have no doubt it's going to trade at 15 to 1 again. And that means that at $3,000 gold, silver should go to 200. And it sounds ridiculous to say it, but it should trade at 15 to 1 when it's being bought 8 to 1.
Wow. Especially if it has an industrial demand base that you're suddenly injecting into it.
Which can't fit in there. It just will not be
It doesn't
able to
fit.
in. No.
Right. Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
So let's go back to sort of your investing process, because this is one of the things that has always struck me in our conversations. And for maybe the outsiders looking in, and you mentioned it before, you own a lot of deals. But I don't think for our listeners, and I'm not just saying this to blow smoke up your ass, Eric, you do more homework on your investments than I think I've ever seen anybody do. You literally don't rely on a huge network of advisors. You have people that you ask very specific questions to from time to time.
Yeah.
But by and large, you go through this stuff like way in detail, whether it's newfound gold or, you know, in my experience with you at least, or other stories that we talk about. Like, you get right in there and you read academic papers, all of this. What else do you consume? Like,
well, of course, when it's meeting a company, there aren't too many critical things to give you the macro sizing. Okay, what are your resources? Then one of my favorite, well, how big do you think it can get? Knowing full well, he'll probably say it's 5 or 10 times bigger. I got to discount that and figure it out or ask him why he thinks that. But once you know kind of what resource he has, and then you can maybe figure out the timing of when it could possibly come into production, which is not an easy thing to do because of the jurisdictional problems and all that. And then, of course, in my mind, I'm saying, okay, well, let's see if that guy could produce 100,000 ounces of gold. He can make $200 million. Wow. What's his market cap? 72. Oh, that's a pretty good deal. He can make 3 times what the market cap is today if and when it comes together, let's say 5 years from now. I don't mind. I can wait the 5 years. Look what my payoff's going to be.
See, and that's it. That's the patience.
Yeah.
In there.
Yeah.
That's I call it the sea
Probably very few
turtle.
people would think like that, right?
100%.
But the guy's going to make $200 million 5 years from now. He might trade at $1 billion.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, his market cap's 25 million today. Like, that's a big payout.
It's insane. Yeah. Well, I mean, I love that. And the other thing is too, so one of the things that we're both aligned on is like public sentiment, social media. Obviously, you're a big investor here with Earth Labs, and we own CO.ca and multiple publications. And I remember you were pretty happy, like, when we ended up buying CO.ca because you used it quite a bit.
Yeah.
So what kind of for many people that don't know, yes, Eric does read these message boards.
Yes, of course, extensively. Well, I can't read it on 200 companies, okay?
Of course.
But I'll take, whatever my top 5 or 10 at the time are and study them. And it's like when you read anything from someone in my position, I'm hoping I get one tidbit of information that I didn't otherwise have.
Mm-hmm.
That somebody said something about an ore body that I otherwise didn't know, or maybe somebody writes about one of my companies, gee, they have some antimony in there that they've never been paid for before. Oh, okay. That's a good thing to know. I didn't know they had antimony. Of course, the price of antimony's gone crazy here, and I could do the math and see what the change might be if they finally get paid for the thing, that sort of thing. So you never know what you're going to come across reading a chat line, because you got a lot of disparate views there.
Sure.
And you might, in fact, learn some of the negatives by going to a chat line. Some guy had a bad history that I didn't know about.
But nonetheless, an important piece of your
Sure.
of your process.
Every day, many times, CEO.ca, many times. Not as many times as I go to Kitco.
Oh yeah.
To check the price of gold.
Do you think it could tear down? Like, if the market tanks, do you think it'll tear down all the golds and the rest of it down with it?
No.
In the short term?
No, I do not believe that. And we see that even now. Okay, so in this quarter, I don't know what the S&P has gone down by, but let's say it's gone down by 10%, and gold stocks have gone up by 25. Well, there's a 35% difference right there, and you can feel the interest in gold and silver. Mm. And I think the more that market comes under pressure, stock market, the more people have to find a place to put some winning bets. And so far, it's been gold and silver. And of course, everything we see for the prices suggests that will continue. And I've said many times before, I really rely on Oliver, MSA Securities. He's Michael Oliver. And he's the guy that I think's had it nailed the most for both precious metals and the market. And the market was a little delayed. He thought it would have gone down quite a while ago. But it's sort of matching up with what he expected, and I think he's expecting a rather sizable decline given time. And of course, he also believes there'll be a huge rally for gold and silver, and he's posited that gold could get to 8,000. He's posited that silver could get to whatever, a couple of $100. And that would be the theory that I buy into. I think the theory holds together.